Today marks 1613 day of daily lessons, daily reflections. And today we speak about seven signs that you actually know that you are letting go of things that doesn't serve you. That is values, beliefs, patterns, habits. There's so many things that we actually keep in our lives that is not adding value in any way possible. And sometimes we need to say that, okay, like I need to move away and let it go. Now, of course, if we have heard that letting go a lot of times in relationships, and I need to let it go that person. But I think that we need to understand that you need to let go even old version of you, old habits, old patterns, and a lot of times we can cling to them. And they will share seven signs that you're finally able to let them go. Number one, you feel uncomfortable more than you're confident. It's an interesting thing. You're growing, you're improving, and now you need to really let go old you, old version of you, old habits, old patterns. And that transition feels extremely uncomfortable. Even more uncomfortable because now everything what you did was familiar. Because it's familiar, it feels comfortable and confident. But now when you really move outside of their comfort, outside of those old habits, old patterns, old beliefs, old values, everything is uncomfortable because unfamiliar. I think that's a dangerous place to be in. So like, oh, like this is unfamiliar, it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's not for me. I'm going back to old version of it because that was familiar, and that's when we need to understand that when we're growing, when we're letting things go, we will feel uneasy, and that's a great feel to be because that's uncertainty is a great because when we're growing intentionally, we know that that feeling will come one way or another. Number two, you are saying no, and you know that it costs you something. Sometimes we've been in an environment that is not good for us, and we'll get less approval because maybe we had a mask because we want to be validated, we want to be accepted, we want to belong. And because now we took off the mask and we start to act differently, we might be rejected. Might be that we receive fewer invites because when our values change and we acting accordingly, some people will not like it. Maybe we were people pleaser. And sometimes when you think about um, life in general, there will be a lot of moments that you will be awkward. What it means is that maybe when old version of you didn't initiate conversations, but new version of you initiates conversations, and that initiation at the beginning might will cause you embarrassment. And it's a beautiful place to be in because you know that you will get better. Number three, some relationships feel off or are fading. So relationships feel off or fading. And interesting thing because that person might be going one direction, you of course going different direction regarding values, regarding habits, regarding patterns, regarding belief in yourself, regarding emotional maturity. And because you're not able to tolerate low standards anymore. And because of that, of course, they will might feel challenged because of your growth, because they know that it could change as well. They could challenge it as well, but they just do not want to do that. A lot of times we just understand that we are not shrinking to that level anymore. We choose to really grow and move forward. And some people just will lose access to you altogether. Number four, you catch yourself midterm. Sometimes you still do it. Sometimes when you think about the way how we communicate, our values, our morals, our habits, our patterns, we not just we are doing one way and then we sometimes transition immediately to other way. The most time it doesn't happen like this, especially old version of us. We transition little by little. And when we have sometimes I ask myself as well, sometimes I have a conversation with someone, I say something and I catch myself immediately that this is not how I want to communicate. I remember with complaining, I complained about someone and I came back as like, wow, why am I complaining? And I to my friend, I sent a text and after he sent a text, immediately said, "This is not me. This is not how I communicate." And that again shows a sign that you are changing, that you improving, you elevating your standards, and that's how you not tolerating yourself to communicate. Using justification, excuses, and blaming someone else, looking for faults. That's a great habit to have. So knowing that sometimes we'll fall back, but you catch yourself faster and faster until you never fall into again. Number five, you feel lonely even when you did the right thing. So interesting thing that for this one, when you walk away from something that is misaligned, especially with relationships, of course, there's a limbo period. You're not that old person anymore, and you're not that new version of you. And you in that middle, you don't have that new relationships built yet, and you don't want to spend with faded relationships. And I think that that moment um, is dangerous because sometimes you want to go back to where it was because at least we had someone. And I think that it's mature thing to really stay lonely for a season. And I think that's one thing about like things that we have a lot of times to do, because sometimes you're addicted to doing, hustling, writing. I'm guilty of that as well sometimes, and we have a lot of on our plate. And sometimes I think the best thing to do is when you go to a restaurant and junk food restaurant, and look into your plate, and there's so much junk food on your plate, and you realize, okay, I don't want to have the junk food on my plate, and you throw everything out of your plate. And one thing is that you know that this place that you are in right now, in this environment, you will not have a healthy food. So what you need to do, you need to put a whole plate back, go outside of that restaurant, of that environment, go to new environment, find a new plate, and then go and then really find things to put on your plate. And that will require some time. But you're not supposed to go back and say like I had that plate. I'm going back to the junk food restaurant, take my plate and put the bad things on my plate again. No, because that was familiar. I'm going to a healthy restaurant. I'm looking for my plate, and I'll start putting things on my plate that is actually serving me, elevating me, and making me moving forward. Number six, you are less reactive but more intentional. When you're quick to react, I think that we are driven by wrong things. But when you really start to realize that, okay, like I changed. Now even boredom becomes better. I'm able to pause if I'm able to reflect. I'm able to respond because I think one of the most beautiful things is when we're able to really have some kind of experience and always before action, we're able to put that reflection mode, that pause. Because when there's experience and there's a reaction immediate, there will not be a great outcome a lot of times. And if you want to increase benefit or outcome, we always need to have experience, reflection, and no matter how small that pause or reflection is, but be able to respond. And that's the beautiful thing because we become intentional about our life rather than reacting. And that's a sign that we're able to really give a pause and be able to choose our responses. The last one is that you grieving version of yourself that you outgrew. And that means that sometimes even you look into yourself in the past and oh wow, I this is how I used to react. This is how I used to speak. This is the values that I used to have. And sometimes you can be even shameful about the things that you did. But I think that you're able to reflect about all the things that you used to do. And now you're looking that this is not who I am. And you're able to see the difference that you made over the years. And I think that's a beautiful thing when you're able to look and say like, this is almost like a picture of a child that you know that this was I was that child and this is not child anymore. I think that emotional maturity is that sometimes you can look into your emotions and say like emotionally I was a child, even though I was maybe 20, maybe 25, but emotionally I was a child. And now a couple of years by, but I build that maturity because emotional maturity is not by age. You already know that. Is that easy understanding? So that means that if emotional maturity is not by age, that means it's by reflection, by experience. That experience is reflected, putting yourself in the right place, doing the hard things. emotionally, not physically, because that sometimes is confused. Because sometimes people say, "Oh, I want you to work hard, working 16 hours a day," but sometimes the most important thing is to do something 15 minutes. That's it. That's the only thing that really face the truth that you're avoiding. That is the hardest thing to do. And people say, "Oh, I'm working so hard to become the best version of myself, working 16 hours a day." This is not the smartest and hardest thing that you needed to do right now. What you need to do is face the things that you are avoiding. And that is the things that really allows to grow maturity in a very fast pace. So would you reflect? This is a video topic. Signs that you let go old version of you, or old patterns, or old habits, old relations. And tomorrow I'll speak a little bit more, but tomorrow I'll speak about 7 signs of fake letting go, because that could happen as well. You think that you are let go, but you are not there yet. So tomorrow I will speak about that. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.